Here at Heritage, we will do some introductions in just a moment and explain the process. But before we do that, again, we're excited you're here to our Human Growth and Development Parent Meeting, but I would like our translator, Angie Ramos, to introduce herself and welcome families and explain the process should they choose to use translation. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Angie for just a moment here, and then we will reconvene in just a second.
Thank you so much, Mr. Carter. Para todas las familias que quieren escuchar esa presentación interpretada en vivo al español, simplemente tienen que hacer clic donde está el globo, escoger prender la interpretación a ES o español y luego poner en silencio el audio original y ya me pueden escuchar a mí. Gracias. Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Okay, again, welcome. Annie, we're going to record this. Okay. All right, again, welcome. Let me explain a little bit about what we're going to do tonight. First of all, again, Dan Carter, principal at Heritage. And the reason I'm going to take the lead is for this fourth grade parent meeting, this rotates by elementary school. Each year, a different elementary will host this. But yet, all administrators are always there. To be there to help answer questions, and there's always a teacher there, a teacher or two, to answer questions. But again, tonight we will talk about the Human Growth and Development program that fourth graders will soon be jumping into. But before we do that, just want to run through and do our introductions. Annie Blackburn is the district's communication specialist, so she is here to help facilitate things. Sheila Wyatt is principal at Arboretum Elementary. We welcome Sheila. Dean Kaminsky, Prairie Elementary Principal. And excited to share Danielle Barini, the Associate Principal at Heritage. And Mr. Ken Penfield. Ken is fourth grade teacher at Heritage. So if we get into some of those questions about classroom level work, Ken is here as a great resource for us. So again, welcome everybody. Human growth and development philosophy. We're going to share the next few slides, and in that philosophy, we're going to talk a little bit about, let me back up. I forgot one thing here. The chat is closed in this webinar format. Okay, but if you have questions, the Q&A is open. So if you have comments or questions, please feel free to use Q&A, and we will be monitoring that, and we'll be able to work through those questions and answers most likely towards the end of the presentation. But nonetheless, let me jump back into it. Human growth and development philosophy. The next few slides are going to share that we believe there's a shared responsibility for human growth and development and students' understanding of that. The first part actually begins with your families, our primary educators of human growth and development education for students. We do believe that the richest and the deepest conversations are going to happen at the family level. School curriculum materials supplement the parent role in providing children with a balanced and thoughtful program. So we'll start with that. We also want our philosophy, is certainly out there that human growth and development is a normal and natural part of being a human from birth to death. We talk about all different curricular areas, and human growth and development is no different than any other area where, it's a process, and students need to learn and be explicitly taught about human growth and development. All individuals experience changes in their bodies and their relationships as they enter adolescence. Adolescence is a pivotal part in growth, with rapid growth and a lot of changes physically, emotionally. So it's really important for students to understand what's going on with them as they're going through that process. So, partnership with parents and guardians, we're going to talk about teamwork. How about the school's role? The school's role is to teach human growth and development and to facilitate communication between home and school. The parent's role is to share, explain, and infuse the family values. Parents and guardians received information about human growth and development through the parent letter that went out a few weeks ago in the meeting tonight. You are invited to preview the materials. When we meet in person, at this point, we usually will queue up the videos and we will share those. A later slide is going to have links for you to use to preview the videos. A word of caution though, you'll need to use a student or district email account to be able to access that. That has something to do with our copyright restrictions and our agreement with those videos. Reminder that parents are always able to exempt their child from part or all of the human growth and development curriculum. We ask you, if you're going to exempt your child, to sign documentation indicating you'd like your child to be exempt from the instruction. Okay, so what guidelines are we going to use as we go through this process? Students will have many different kinds of questions about human growth and development. The following guidelines will help teachers to answer their questions in a safe environment. Ken, on this next slide, I'm going to ask you to kind of help out a little bit because I know you've shared some good detail, but I'll run through the slide. I'm going to ask you to jump in a little bit. But students will write questions and put them into a question box or give them to a teacher prior to the answer sessions. This will give the instructor the opportunity to consider the appropriate responses to student questions. Student names will never be disclosed. And a reminder, not all questions will be answered. If there are things that, well, let me back up. All questions will be answered simply and factually, but if a student asks questions reflecting personal or sexual values, they'll be referred to their parents or guardians or another trusted adult, because there are certain things that we're just not going to be engaging in. Ken, you want to add anything from your experience at the classroom level on that?
Sure. And we try to handle the content as, I guess, as both candidly with the kids, but the bottom line is it's age appropriate. And again, like Dan had said, anything that a student may ask on the question cards or during our live question and answer on Fridays, on Friday or the last day of the unit, we'll have the student refer to a parent, guardian, or other trusted adult. That's paramount because we don't want to answer anything that may be inappropriate for a family's individual values and things that they may, taken at home. But the biggest thing that we talk about with the content is physical and emotional changes. And we always make sure, we build in healthy choices for the students to think about as they're getting older. And then we also talk about the fact that everybody is going to change differently. Each student may develop sooner or later than their friend. So we try to make sure everything is age appropriate for 4th grade. And again, we always fall back to the parents or another trusted adult if we feel that a student has a question that we feel might go above and beyond what we're going to answer at the 4th grade level.
Thanks, Ken. Like I just mentioned, not every question asked needs to be answered. The teacher will use professional judgment. And I think Ken just talked a little bit about that. Questions regarding sexual experiences of any particular person will not be answered. And we're always very careful to make sure that we use correct terminology for slang terms to make sure that students are using the correct vocabulary. What you can do, use this opportunity. I mean, once that letter arrived and you had to start to think about whether or not your child was going to be, part of the human growth and development learning that's happening real soon here. And once you decided to come to this meeting, I mean, it's kind of forcing you into a position, if you have not yet talked with your child about human growth and development, it's really nudging you right into it. But use this opportunity to talk with your child about their development and encourage them to ask questions. Create opportunities for your child to learn more. There are some really good books out there from the public library even school libraries. I know that the Pleasant Company has a really good version out there for the girls. That's just a very popular choice. The title escapes me right now. I don't know if anyone would remember that. That would be great. You know, ask your homeroom teacher if you're unclear on anything related to the unit. We haven't gone too much into the process yet. Ken talked a little bit about it, but I believe the next screen will share about that. But again, you know, the more you as a parent, family member can normalize this, I think, you know, the easier it's going to be on your child to not only have that conversation with you, but then also to be part of the human growth and development experience at school when that comes to them.
So Dan, you had asked if either one of us remembered the title, and like any adult who forgets exactly what the title is, I just Googled it because I could picture the cover, and it's The Care and Keeping of You. So if you Google the American Girl puberty book, up it pops, and it does a nice job with everything about care, including brushing your teeth, and it's kind of a whole body kind of book. And it's too bad they don't do it for boys. We've requested it for years.
Yeah, every year we talk about that, how it's a great fit for the girls through American Girl, but yeah. Thanks, Sheila. So what is this going to look like? Part of this includes videos, and the videos are entitled Just Around the Corner. There's one for the boys and one for the girls. And all students watch both. The boys will watch the girls and the boys, and the girls watch the girls and the boys. So everyone watches everything because it's super important for them to not only understand their own body and their own changes, but that of the opposite gender. And it gives a general overview of emotional and physical changes during puberty. Again, the videos are available online, but again, and I can't explain it due to the technical part of it. And if anybody else can, Dean or Ken or Sheila, you know, basically we have an agreement to do these online, but you can only access it through a school district account. So namely your student's account, you can certainly go ahead and access those. I'm going to back up though. Mr. Penfield, in addition to those videos, do you want to just share a little bit more about what the week or those couple of days look like?
Sure. Like Dan had said, the students will watch the videos with their entire class. We do have some classes that are virtual yet that will log in, and we're going to have it set up so that they'll watch the video too. But the boys and girls watch the video together. So like say day one, we choose, depending on availability for the videos, we'll watch the boy video. Everybody in class will. And so then the students will have an opportunity. We give them index cards, and they will write down something they learned and a question they may have. They don't put any names on it, nothing. So just questions. And so then we do the next video the next day, doing the same thing. We'll watch the girl video, and then students will have an opportunity to write down one thing that they learned, something that may have surprised them, and a question that they may have. So then after each of those days, the teachers will get together as a team, and we'll sort through the questions and get rid of the ones that are inappropriate, and find the ones that are appropriate, that are directly related to the content. And then we'll type them up and we'll answer them, so that the girls group that meet with the women teachers in the building, they will answer questions. And then I believe it's Mr. Gus and possibly Mr. Garland are going to join me, and then we'll answer the questions for the boys, at least at Heritage. And so then that's how we'll handle it. And we do key in on a lot of the physical and emotional changes that the videos address, and you'll see that once you view them. And I would urge you to view them because then you'll know exactly what's being presented to your son and or daughter. And then after when we start answering the questions, we talk about the biggest thing is that we try to key in on everybody's going to change at a different time, it's something that the kids at this grade level, one of the words that we always hear from the boys are like gross, but we always tell them, this is something you're going to need to know about. And as a teacher, I can say this is my 13th year doing this, and the most uncomfortable year that I had with this is the year that my two sons, two of the triplets, were in the boys group when I was teaching it. And so, and the kids, they all have the same, I guess at, 8, 9, and 10 years old, they have the same mindset. But then by the time they're done with it, they feel comfortable with it. It's not something that's scary or is going to make them different. And it like is different in a bad way. So we try to key in on the positive things with it. And again, we urge them to go home and talk to mom, dad, or a trusted adult. That's our biggest thing. Sometimes, if a kid has a question that we think that they have a misconception on and we can't explain it, we'll send the parent an email or call you directly and say, hey, this is something you might want to chat with. But again, everything is done in a age appropriate level. We are not going to answer any questions that are above and, at a higher level of, I guess, developmental age. And that's pretty much it. The biggest thing is we tell the kids that this is something everybody goes through. It's just everybody hits it at a different stage in their life.
All right, thank you for that classroom.
The song will get stuck in your head too, parents. They've got a song and a tune that goes with both of the videos, and it will get stuck in your head.
Mhm. All right, thank you, Ken, for that classroom level perspective there. So what's coming up next? Starting next week, Prairie fourth grade students will begin learning about this. A couple weeks later, Heritage and Arboretum students will learn about this. So it is coming up. Hopefully, you'll be able to learn a little more about the human growth and development process tonight to help you shape your thinking even more. Sometimes parents will use this meeting as an opportunity to just learn a little bit more before they decide if their child's going to be a participant or not. But those are some timelines for you to be mindful of. And with that, that's the end of the sharing. Now, questions and answers have always been a very helpful part of this whole parent meeting. And, we welcome that now. I know there were a couple of questions about how is this going to work with virtual students. Those are in the Q&A, and we're still trying to iron out a few of those details, but we do understand that that's going to be a little bit unique. But yes, if there are questions and answers, please go ahead and let those go. Mr. Kaminsky, it looked like you unmuted. Did you have anything to add?
Well, yeah, a little bit here. We've actually been working to work out that virtual piece because we are doing ours next week. And when it comes to that, I think that both of them are kind of, well, first of all, the instructional piece, the virtual teacher will be providing the videos via screen share while the kids are watching it. And in terms of the box for them to ask questions, we're going to have our virtual students join one of our classrooms. We have two teachers, Mr. Fallon and Mr. Anderson, who will be taking the boys. I will be also assisting in one of the boys' rooms as well. And the questions will be submitted prior to that meeting time so that we can go through them, as Mr. Penfield said, and get them sorted through. And then we'll be able to address those questions. And the questions will be gathered from the virtual teacher. They're just going to ask the student to submit the question to them privately.
Thank you, Mr. Kaminsky. There was a question in Q&A asking about, will students learn about the reproductive system and how babies are born? They will learn about the reproductive systems and how an egg is fertilized, but that it stops there. We don't talk about the birthing process at fourth grade. Now, remember that fourth grade is the first grade level where students get formalized instruction in human growth and development. There are, more topics that happen in the later grades. But again, that question, they do learn the reproductive system. They do learn about fertilization, but from there, that's as far as it goes.
parents on that too, I'd really encourage you to watch those videos, because then you can see exactly what is taught and what the boys and girls will see and what they won't see. So it is just their intro, as Mr. Carter said, and I think you'll feel pretty comfortable once you're able to see exactly what they will. I'm also a former 6th grade teacher in our district, and it absolutely, in human growth and development, kind of goes up the chain at an appropriate amount of information as children age up and are ready for that. I'd like to add both Dan Carter and Dean Kaminsky shared who is taking care of the boys Q&A section in their building, and in ours, Mr. Holler does that. So he takes care of meeting with our guys.
There's a question about how to access the videos, and we should probably make it as easy as possible for you. So let's brainstorm that. They're on the school district website, but you do have to dig a little bit. Dean, Sheila, any ideas how we can get those links a little easier for parents to access? I mean,
So, yeah, I was thinking about that as we were going through here, and I thought I could put, oh, there's a good, can I
Yeah,
send
there's an
it
idea.
to the parent portal?
yeah,
That might not be, because
yeah,
can't stick anything in the chat right now because that won't work.
right.
So we will have to creatively figure out how to best do that. Yeah, because they're URLs.
Right. And there are live links in this presentation, but you don't have the presentation. So we hear you loud and clear, and we're going to figure out something either later this evening or first thing in the morning to try to get those links out, especially for prairie families, you know, because that's coming up really quick. But yeah,
If you put it in through the parent portal, the one thing that might be an issue is if the student, they need to be logged in on the Chromebook as the student first and foremost, and
Right.
then access the parent portal.
right. So do we use Seesaw or something like
I
that?
don't know if I'd put it on Seesaw, but
Yeah.
I would almost see if one of the people that manage each school's webpage put it on a bookmark in the section that says for parents.
Oh, sure.
So then the parents could click on it through that, and then it's an active link
Right.
versus going through an email where it might have.
Okay. We will get offline and problem solve that, and then we will communicate out to 4th grade families how you can access, but yes, we will work on that. We will hang out. We do appreciate everybody that did plug in tonight and you know, catch the high level sharing on human growth and development. But you know, and if you have other thoughts or questions that come up at any point, email any one of us administrators, and we're happy to provide the clarification that we can.
Is it safe to talk?
Now we're at 15 participants.
It's still recording. Do we want to stop
Okay.
the recording?
Well, I didn't know. I just wondered, so we can, if we